welcome to Facts at 5. My name is Michael Clark. I'm here at the LTV Media Center with Peter Van Scoyoc, the town supervisor. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Michael.
Good to see you. Yeah, same here. So there's a lot going on these days with COVID and everything else. And I know there's been some cases that have popped up in the school system. And I know that's not you don't really have control over those things, but what do you know about the COVID in the schools?
So, it was always a concern, I think, earlier on that once fall came and schools reopened, that there was concern that, we might see some resurgence and spike. There have been a very few number of cases here within the schools, and I think the schools have responded appropriately and quickly to those particular cases. And we're going to be in this situation where we're going to have to continually work to adapt to whatever comes up in order to keep the disease from really spreading. We've seen in the press, and the governor's talked about it, and the mayor of New York's talked about these hotspot areas and trying to get a handle on the hotspots and to put them out quickly. I think he likened them to embers in dry grass or something. You really want to try to identify where the disease is popping up and put it out quickly. And I think part of that effort is New York State now offers an app that you can put on your phone or smart device that will let you know when you've come into close contact with somebody who's tested positive. Now, it does not track your GPS location. It works off proximity to other devices, and it will tell you, if you've been within 6 feet or 6 feet of somebody who has tested positive for more than 10 minutes. It's really a great tool that was developed along with Apple and Google. Again, it doesn't store any of your personal information, doesn't have access to any of that. It's really a proximity alert.
Wow.
So everyone's being encouraged to go ahead and sign up to do that. And again, it's pretty simple. You can go to the New York State website, or you can go to the town website. I believe we have a page up describing that and with a link to download that app. So, that's another tool. Again, we're going to have to continue to adapt. We're going to have to continue to be wearing masks and socially distance and heightened disinfecting protocols, all very important to prevent spread. We are still seeing low numbers here, but we really want to keep it that way. So we appreciate all the cooperation that all of our residents and visitors have given us and heeding the advice.
Yeah, I think it's unrealistic to think that for anybody to expect that there wouldn't be something with the schools opening back up, but it's more, kind of how you contain it, and how you react to it. And I think that they're doing a pretty good job from what I hear. So and it's really easy to lose sight of. And I was talking to the staff here about this. I was watching the debate the other night, and I see the lines, showing how COVID has been, right, and where we were when we were all hunkered down and there was nobody on the street and nothing happening, and that number was down here. But now we're up here, and I'm talking about just in general, right? Now we're up here, and so it's really easy to become, used to it, or I'm not sure what the right word that I'm looking for is, but to focus on the fact that we are still in a pandemic. Not to lose sight of that, and don't let your guard down. And that I'm glad to hear about that proximity application, because I was not aware of that. That's a really good thing. I'm definitely going to go and download that myself.
Yeah, it's a great tool, and again, it doesn't store personal information or track your location. It's all about proximity alerts to other devices. But I think if you look at the curve that you mentioned for New York State,
right?
Look at the curve for major industrialized wealthy countries and how they've combated the disease, and then you look at the overall United States chart. It's really sad to see. We beat down the curve April into May, and it's been bouncing along at the low, 1%, 2%. Now, obviously, with the cooler weather, we're starting to see some upticks, but just the opposite on the national chart. It started to bend the curve down, and then it's just trajectory is just going up and up and up. So much different, that curve, than it's not really a curve. It's pretty much a straight line now, inclining. And compared to all those other wealthy industrialized countries, we're doing very poorly. And
Yeah.
Frankly, I think here in New York State, we're fortunate that our state government and the governor have really taken this seriously. Obviously, we were the epicenter early on. We know how devastating it was, and how much fear and anxiety it caused, and hardship for everyone. And we understand what it potentially could be, and I think we just have to not get complacent. We have to avoid, mask fatigue, if you will. I just think some people are probably starting to experience some COVID fatigue. It's still stressful. I know people's anxiety is still kind of high. The uncertainty of when we might be able to get back to something closer to normal. And I think we all miss so many aspects, whether it be visiting, loved ones that are far away, experiencing communal activities, which are great stress relief, frankly. I mean, if you're going out to dinner, or you're going to a musical event or some other public gathering to celebrate somebody's achievements, all that's just been waylaid. And, that takes a toll on people. So, we have to focus on that, remember that, reach out to people you haven't heard from in a while, Zoom with them, call them on the phone, maybe try to get together with them, socially distanced for a period of time outdoors. It's really important to keeping us all together. We got to keep it together, folks.
That's right. And one of the other things that we don't think about, and you folks are going through this right now, is the residual effect that COVID has had, obviously leading up to and looking forward, because we don't know where we're going to be in six months. We know where we'd like to be. So, and this is particularly impacting with the budget for the town, right? You came out with the proposed budget for 2021, and and I tell you, I took a look at that, Peter, and your team and Len and everybody else, you really should, you really deserve a hearty hand clasp if we were allowed to do that anymore. But the way I expected some real severe things because of the amount of money that, we just in general, just being a person who really doesn't know it, how much money just wasn't collected in sales tax in Suffolk County and things like that, and all those, and so it trickles down, right? It's going to end up at the local town budgets, and so you're being cut by the county, but yet somehow Len and his team and you guys, you were able to pull that together. How did that work? I mean, what was the impact of COVID on the budget?
Michael, that's been the result of a really concerted effort across the town finance department and successive administrations post the last financial crisis that we had 10 years ago.
Right.
And, we completely rebuilt the way the town accounts and the fiscal controls within the town. And we've been able to continually add to surplus. And, our fund balances are quite robust and healthy. And the purpose of that is to be able to weather such a storm as a hurricane or such a storm as a worldwide pandemic. So we had significant additional unanticipated costs. At the same time, we had significant drops in revenue, both sales tax revenues from the county, their contributions, and also non-tax revenue in the form of, for instance, non-resident beach permits and other types of revenue sources. Justice court fees and fines and whatnot were way down. So all those revenue sources were hit. but we were able to balance that out. I found out just a couple of days before I released my tentative budget, the county exec called me and said, we're cutting your mutual aid funding by 50%, which was over $500,000. That was a huge hit. So we scrambled around. We plan to use a little bit of that surplus to help alleviate additional tax burden from taxpayers. I think it's a really solid budget. And again, it's been conservative budgeting and restraint by myself and other town board members over a number of years. We have a really terrific financial team here that helped put in place those controls and accounting auditing procedures to make sure that the town, was properly accounting and aware of what our exposures and liabilities were based on revenue and whatnot. So we have a really good system set up now. We have a really good team in-house. I'll just give a quick shout out to Charlene Cagle, who's been our chief financial auditor for the last decade and is responsible for many of those controls and sound auditing practices. She will be leaving us as of today. Today is her last day.
Oh, boy.
She's going to take a job in the village of Southampton. And I think, we've again achieved awards from GFOA, which is Government Finance Officers Association. We have a string of awards for, I think, 7 years running due to Charlene's great help. And I think it's safe to say her work here is done. We end this coming year, in March, I think it's March 21st of 21, we will have paid off the last deficit financing bond from the financial crisis of a decade ago. And the town has AAA bond rating and over 50% reserve in funds. So
looking forward
to everybody working together to make sure that we do the very best for the taxpayers of East Hampton.
Oh, absolutely. So looking forward into 2021, you don't see like the uncertainty of COVID and where we are with COVID in 2021. You guys feel that you have a plan for that, no matter where it comes from.
Yes, I mean, we've been stockpiling PPE and disinfectant and all those sort of things. We've added additional staff, custodial staff to help with heightened cleaning protocols, both during the summertime for the beaches and buildings and grounds. We are planning, for whatever might come. I think, we're in pretty good shape, honestly, and we can certainly weather this throughout 2021 if it goes that long.
Well, it's good to know, Peter. And, we have about 2 or 3 minutes left here. Is there anything in particular you'd like to talk about what's going on?
Yeah, just a couple quick informational things. The town is, looking at affordable housing overlay district designation for property off 3 Mile Harbor. It's roughly 15 acres, 16 acres there for a potential affordable housing project. That property is being worked on in conjunction with the Housing Authority, East Hampton Housing Authority, which is a separate authority, but is working on the Gansett Meadow project, which is coming to fruition. They're looking at doing a project there with the same contractor. And part of that would be an affordable housing overlay designation to allow them to proceed. The town's working through that. Also, I just want to remind people, especially second homeowners who may be using their home year round, who may not be aware that we have a septic upgrade program whereby you can upgrade your septic at little or no cost to you through grants and rebates, both from the town and from the county. This program helps ensure that our groundwater remains clean and that our surface waters are not contaminated by excess nitrogen caused primarily by septic systems. This degrades our water quality, and we want to do everything we can. So if you're a second homeowner, maybe now living here year round, please consider upgrading your system in your house to a modern low nitrogen system. And if you need any information about that, you can contact East Hampton Town Natural Resources Department. And that number is 631-324-0496. They'd be very happy to help you work your way through that process.
Well, we appreciate that information, Peter, and we'll have to sign off here for this week, but we'll pick it right back up again next Friday. And thanks a lot for taking the time out to join us.
Great. Michael, thanks for having me back on the show, and everybody have a safe and enjoyable holiday weekend.
You too, Peter.
Take care.